The House of Lords, what do they actually do? You may already know what's coming in this episode. One thing they did do was they backed an amendment to the Brexit bill to guarantee the rights of EU citizens and urged Conservative MPs in the House of Commons to support the change. Now, do you remember that? Back in March. But one good thing doesn't mean you can take part in bad practices. Yet again, another scandal in Westminster. Rich and wealthy peers are said to be claiming up to £40,000 a year just for showing their faces. And no, I don't read The Sun, just in case some of you are wondering and starting to roll your eyes. But this did pop up on my radar, and me being me, I thought I'd have a deeper look. Peers in the House of Lords don't get paid a salary, but as the expenses scandal in the Commons, I would say this is still open to abuse. This is what they are entitled to. Members of the House of Lords can opt to receive £300 per day attendance allowance, plus travel expenses and subsidised restaurant facilities. Peers may also choose to receive a reduced attendance allowance of £150 per day instead. The £300 is also tax-free. I say again, tax-free. The allowance system was brought in 7 years ago after the parliamentary expenses scandal. Remember that? To curb costs and potential abuses. So, what are we looking at? And what do they actually claim for, and how much? Well, according to one tabloid, multi-millionaire peers are claiming, as I've said, £40,000 a year in expenses for attending the House of Lords while making little or no contributions to debates, committees or questions, according to shocking new figures in an investigation. But who are they? Well, here are just two. For an example, Anthony Clark, Baron Clark of Hampstead, admitted that he fiddled his expenses to make up for not being paid a salary. Lord Hanningfield was charged with two alleged offences under Section 17 of the Theft Act 1968, which is false accounting. On the 26th of May 2011, Lord Hanningfield was found guilty on 6 counts. Now, find that shocking. Maybe you think it's okay that they don't actually get paid after all. But what about Baroness Wilcox, who in 2015 billed the taxpayer up to £5,700 a month for her walk to work? Yes, walk to work. She lived no more than 200 yards from the House of Lords in a £4 million house, no less. But apparently 161 members of the Lords who live in London, 124 have claimed the daily allowance last year. But have you ever heard of disgraced Baron Cyril, who quit in 2015, 2 days after the exposure of his cocaine-fueled sex party with 2 prostitutes? He blew the whistle on practices that benefits wealthy peers in London. Apparently, in a drugged up rant, he made a mistake by claiming the allowance was just £200. He said, the trouble is these fucking shits who live in London and don't have to pay rent. They've already got a house in London. They get exactly the same, so it's free money to them. Now, I mean the lawyers, the people in the city, people like that. They're coming in. They do fuck all work in the Lords and they're picking up their £200. A few choice words there, really. Should they claim expenses? Yes, they should, but not at the level that they're doing. No. This is coming from the public purse, and you can understand that this could be contributing to the lack of funds elsewhere. A House of Lords spokesperson said this, and I found this in a number of locations. Here's what he said. Apart from travel costs, attendance allowance is the only financial support available to members from which they must cover any expenses associated with their work in Parliament, including accommodation and any staff they employ. Only financial support available. If they have staff, don't they have an income elsewhere that is generated by work them staff members do? The House of Lords is an active and effective revising chamber that considered 3,678 amendments to legislation in the last season, and members contribute to that work in a wide variety of ways. In 2015 and 16 session, 710 members spoke in debates, 779 voted in divisions, and 321 were members of select committees. However, parliamentary work is not limited to these activities, and much of it would not leave a record. Now that's fair enough, but consider the last bit. Much of it would not leave a record, and this is why it is still and always will be abused. What about families out there that are struggling on a day-to-day basis on low wages? What is the only financial support they have? These type of practices are widening the class gap and an even greater division between the elites and your everyday member of public. It's a system, in my view, that is wrong. Do they make important decisions? Of course they do. Does it warrant the level of pay or expenses that they are getting? In my opinion, I don't think so. Again, this was found in a wealth of locations. How about, reportedly, the highest claimant? Lord Paul, apparently one of Britain's richest men, who received £40,800 back in 2015, despite making no contributions in the chamber or committees. An investigation has found that out. Astounding, isn't it? The centre of London holds some of the wealthiest people we will ever come to see. And our council tax continues to rise. The Conservatives are making ESA cuts to the disabled. The use of food banks are on the rise. But the House of Lords are taking, in my view, way too much money from the pot. The Conservatives are being investigated for election fraud, and various other allegations have been made about politicians from both parties, by the way. The child sex abuse investigation has faced several chairpersons. NHS contracts are being given away to private companies in exchange for donations. The next generation are not far behind. Do we make it better for them while we can? Or do we carry on sucking it up, being positive in the hope we can make it better for ourselves? Only you can decide what kind of world you want your children to live in. Make yourself heard, because united we can have a better society and a better political system. Have you heard about this report? Put a comment in the box below and tell me what you think. What I'm going to start doing from this week, every Sunday, is putting the best comments from both videos, the one on Tuesday and the one on Friday. I will be copying them and pasting them to my Twitter account all day Sunday. See the link below, copy and paste it, and find me on Twitter and follow me. And you never know, you may make yourself heard and see your comment in the greater domain. Click subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.